A doll was laughing under my grandmother's bed, its high-pitched giggle echoing through the silent, dimly lit room. I froze in the doorway, my flashlight trembling in my hand. The laughter wasn't mechanical, like a toy. It was disturbingly human, filled with malice. My grandmother had passed away 3 days ago, and the house had been empty since then. Or so I thought. The doll hadn't been there before. It was small, with glassy black eyes, tangled hair, and a stitched smile that seemed too wide. I took a cautious step forward, and as I did, the laughter stopped abruptly. The room fell into an eerie silence, the kind that presses against your ears. Then, in a voice that wasn't my own, it whispered, "She promised me your soul." Chills ran down my spine as I recalled the stories my grandmother used to tell about her guardian spirit, a doll she had received as a child from a mysterious woman who lived deep in the forest. She always claimed the doll protected her, but she warned us never to touch it. I had always dismissed it as an old woman's eccentricity, but now, staring at the thing under her bed, I knew it wasn't just a story. I crouched down, my heart racing, and shone the flashlight under the bed. The doll wasn't there anymore. My blood ran cold as I felt a sharp tug at my ankle. Looking down, I saw its tiny hand gripping me. Its stitched smile twisted into a sneer, and it hissed, "Run if you can." I stumbled back, kicking the doll away, but it was already crawling toward me, its glassy eyes locked onto mine. The laughter returned, louder now, echoing from the walls as if the house itself were alive. I grabbed a nearby chair and smashed it down on the doll, but it didn't even flinch. Instead, it began to grow. Its limbs stretched, its head twisted unnaturally, and soon it was towering over me, its smile filled with rows of sharp, needle-like teeth. "You can't break the bond," it growled, its voice deeper and more guttural. "Your grandmother gave me her soul to save herself, and now it's your turn." I ran. I didn't care where, as long as I could get out of the house. But no matter how far I went, the doll was always just behind me, its laughter echoing in my ears. When I finally burst out into the night, I thought I was safe. But as I looked down, I realized I was still holding the doll in my hands. Its grin widened as it whispered, "You can't escape me." The last thing I remember is its cold fingers wrapping around my neck, pulling me into darkness. When I woke up, I was lying in my grandmother's bed, the doll sitting on my chest. But this time, I wasn't alone. I could feel her presence in the room, a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed. "I told you not to touch it," her voice echoed. Then the shadow lunged toward me, and everything went black. Now I'm trapped in the house, my soul bound to the doll, just like hers. And every night, I hear the laughter, waiting for the next person to step inside. I was lying in bed, unable to sleep, when I saw it. Something dark shifting at the foot of my bed. A figure, tall and skeletal, with hollow eyes that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. It wasn't human. It had a presence, cold and oppressive, like it was made from pure malice. "I've been waiting for you," it rasped, its voice scraping against my eardrums like broken glass. "Your grandmother promised me your soul." Panic seized me, and I tried to move, to scream, but I couldn't. My body was frozen, as if something invisible had wrapped chains around me. The figure stepped closer, its shadow expanding, swallowing the room in darkness. I could feel the weight of its gaze, like it was burrowing into my very soul. "You see, she owed me," it continued, its voice dripping with hatred. "Years ago, she made a bargain, a price for the power she craved. But the debt has passed to you now, and I will collect." I struggled, but it was no use. The figure raised its hand, and I felt an intense burning sensation in my chest. Something inside me, the very essence of who I was, began to tear away, as if it were being ripped from my body. I could see it, a dark tendril of smoke leaking from my skin, curling toward the figure like a willing offering. "Your soul is mine," it hissed, and as it spoke, the room around me grew colder, more suffocating. Shadows seeped from the walls, creeping toward me like hungry beasts. I could hear whispers again, but these weren't mere murmurs. They were words, sinister and clear. You belong to me now. Desperation welled up inside me. I reached for anything that could break the hold. My fingers brushed the edge of my grandmother's old book, sitting on the nightstand. It was filled with strange symbols and faded ink, pages torn and smeared with what looked like ancient dried blood. I remembered her warnings. Never touch it, unless you're prepared to face the consequences. But at this point, I had no choice. Gripping the book tightly, I began to read aloud, forcing my voice to shake the shadows. The symbols on the pages glowed faintly, pulsing with dark energy. The figure hissed in rage, stepping back as if repelled. The air shifted, the whispers fading into silence. "Foolish child," it growled, its voice distorted. "You can't undo what's been done. You're already mine." But I didn't stop. I kept reading, louder this time, pouring every ounce of strength into the words. The darkness around me twisted and shrieked, thrashing like a living creature. Shadows retreated, hissing and clawing at the walls. I could feel it, something weakening, something giving way. As the last word left my lips, the figure let out a final, ear-piercing scream and dissolved into black smoke, vanishing into the floorboards. The house fell silent, and I was left trembling, the weight of the encounter sinking deep into my bones. But I know, it's not over. The darkness still lingers. I feel it watching, waiting just beyond the edges of my vision. I can't escape it, not as long as I hold my grandmother's book. Her debt has passed to me, and now I carry the curse she tried to escape. I know it will come back, and when it does, I'll have to be ready, because next time it won't be so easy to fight.